Today is October 17, 2022. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life, and this is Pro-Life Week. Well, a few things on today's program. First, I saw in the news that this past Friday, the Justice Department, that would be Joe Biden's Justice Department, has arrested another pro-life activist. This one is a 26-year-old man named Herb Geraghty, who is a self-described pro-life atheist. And apparently he even runs or operates or founded an activist group somewhat similar, I believe, to Operation Rescue that engages in certain levels of civil disobedience in front of abortion clinics. But he is a political liberal, so it almost seems like he's one of them. But the man is 100% pro-life, and he's an activist. And now he's been arrested, and he's been charged with violating the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, which was passed back in the early 1990s during the Clinton years. And like the other people that we've talked about before, if he's convicted, he could get up to 11 years in prison and a $300,000 plus fine. So, we are seeing this on a regular basis now, that the Justice Department is on a rampage. They are targeting pro-life activists, and it's a persecution. It's just a persecution. And so far this year, 22 pro-lifers have been arrested for violating this act, this law of Congress. And like I've mentioned before, it doesn't matter what the pro-abortion activists do at pro-life clinics, or I shouldn't say pro-life clinics, I should say pro-life organizations, or crisis pregnancy centers. They've been vandalized. Dozens of them have been vandalized, and not one single person has been arrested. But they have targeted pro-lifers. So I suppose that comes with the territory when you are, at least in theory, out of favor with the leadership in your government. We're the outcasts, so we are the targets. We are the targets. And another woman who was arrested, she's one of the 22 that have been arrested. It's an elderly woman. She is a former German citizen who spent time in a communist prisoner of war concentration camp during World War II. So when it's a communist, most likely we're talking about the Soviet Union. And you've got to remember too that during World War II, the communists, the Red Army was just as violent and barbaric as the Nazis were. They were ruthless, not just to the Germans, but to the German people, but to the Polish people and many other groups. Ruthless. Unfortunately, they were our allies during the war, so that's just a fact of life. But this woman, she takes some really, really strong positions. But her comments that I'll be reading to you, they are born out of her experience in a concentration camp. These are lived experiences to her. So, I may perhaps disagree with certain portions of her agenda, what she's striving for, but I do not criticize her. I admire her conviction. Like I said, birthed from her years in a prison camp. And here's what she said here. She was unaware. This is according to the Life Action News. She was unaware that America even had abortion clinics until 1988. So I'm not sure what time she emigrated to the U.S. after her time in Germany. Quote, I said to my husband, these are the death camps of America. I saw people sitting in front of abortion clinics in Atlanta, and I've been involved ever since. She makes a strong argument against pro-life incrementalism, which basically is the policy that you enact legislation that you believe or hope will pass judicial review and be declared constitutional. Because if you were to go all the way, the courts would say there's no way that's going to pass. But they might accept some incremental pro-life legislation. And in general, incrementalism has been successful. And you could argue that the Mississippi case in Dobbs was incremental because it didn't ban abortion. It would prohibit abortions after the 15th week. So there's an argument to be made that incrementalism has been successful. But anyway, to her point, she said, quote, "If you here again, this is from her experience in a death camp or in a concentration camp. Quote, if you were in a death camp like I was as a girl, would you want those who are obligated to love you to lobby for cleaner death camps, less bugs in our starvation diet?" So you can understand her point of view. Okay, I'll keep going. Quote, "The wrath of God is against us, and time is short to waste effort trying to regulate child killing. We wind up on the wrong side of the line God has drawn so clearly in the sand." So I'll just leave you with her comments, and I will move on because she said that very clearly. Now, regarding Prop 3, there's a portion of the proposed constitutional amendment that I haven't really addressed, and I thought I would, and just see how that can be developed. And here's the sentence, quote, this is from the proposed amendment, "Not on your ballot, but in the actual proposed amendment." Quote, "An individual's right to reproductive freedom shall not be denied, burdened, nor infringed upon unless justified by a compelling state interest achieved by the least restrictive means." Unquote. Okay, so let's just kind of flesh this out. Her freedom cannot be denied or burdened. I say here that I think by adding the word burdened is a nod to Justice Sandra Day O'Connor in her 1992 Planned Parenthood versus Casey decision, in which she and the majority court scrapped the original Roe trimester framework, and she instituted a new policy called the undue burden rule, which was basically a state can enact abortion restrictions as long as they do not impose an undue burden on the woman seeking to terminate a pregnancy. So that's the undue burden rule. And here in Prop 3, it says that the state cannot impose that burden. So I guess the question is, how far can the state go to stretch a law that would burden her freedom? How far can they go? It doesn't really say, but most likely it'll be left to the interpretation of a liberal judge. So I say, but maybe the rest of the sentence spells it out. So let's look at that original sentence again. It said, individual right to reproductive freedom should not be denied, burdened, or infringed upon unless justified by a compelling state interest achieved by the least restrictive means. The least restrictive means. That does not give the state hardly any room to move the needle. The minute the legislature attempts to enact a restrictive law, a judge will step in and declare that this proposed bill exceeds the least restrictive means. Even if a bill is passed by the legislature and signed by the governor, a judge of the state Supreme Court will intercept and rule that the law is invalid because it exceeds the least restrictive means. In short, there is nothing the legislature can do once Prop 3 becomes part of our state constitution. In short, Prop 3 allows for zero regulations, zero restrictions. We must vote no. We must vote no. I just want to announce too, I haven't brought this up before, but I will be speaking at Kalamazoo Free Methodist Church in the 900 block of Maple Street, right across the street from the YMCA in Kalamazoo, on October 22nd, which is a Saturday at 1 p.m. And I'll be speaking about Proposal 3 and sharing a lot of the same points that I've been mentioning the last month or so on my Pro-Life Week videos. But the church is going to be recording this, and it's going to be like a live simulcast to other Free Methodist churches across the state, as well as other churches or groups or individuals may be able to get that link and watch it on their computers or watch it on their mobile devices on their own. So everyone is welcome to Kalamazoo Free Methodist Church to attend the live event. And I do hope to see you there. And it's going to be a good opportunity for education, for the community to get better educated about how bad, how dangerous and extreme and confusing Proposal 3 is. And last thing, I just want to remind you again, prayer in the park, the day after I'm speaking. So it's October 23rd. It's a Sunday, 4 p.m., probably 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Arcadia Creek Festival Place in downtown Kalamazoo, just off of Kalamazoo Avenue. We're Christians are coming together to pray for human life, for unborn life, for the sanctity of life. Pray for moms, pray for babies. And we're coming together to, it's not a protest. There's no signs going to be there saying, vote no on Prop 3. But the impetus of this has been partly to energize the pro-life Christian community to vote no on Proposal 3. With that, I will let you go and see you next time.